Hello, welcome to Why Wait Till Sunday. We are back, and this time we got Jon Hagler back with us, and we're going to be going over some Zay Flowers film. So, he was, he was with us for last week's episode where we talked about the 2022 class of probably like those top 5 wide receivers or so, broke those guys down. So check that out if you haven't yet. But tonight, we're going to go over Boston College Zay Flowers. And he's another guy probably will be in the 2022 class. He's a rising junior. And if he does well again, I would imagine he'd leave. Before we get into the tape, we're going to watch him against Pittsburgh in 2020, which was a game he went absolutely bananas on, like 6 for 160 and 3 or something. So it should be a very fun game to watch. What do you personally already know about Flowers? And I think Pittsburgh, I don't know about their corners. I know they have a decent defense. Their front seven's pretty nasty. So
front seven is ridiculous.
Yeah. So go ahead with, what do you think of him already? Or, and is Pittsburgh a good game to watch? I picked it because it would be fun and I don't want to be boring out here, but.
I believe so. They have a good amount of defensive talent, especially against Boston College. I don't want to see them, against Alabama necessarily. But I think Pittsburgh, they have a really good defensive line, and they have NFL guys on that defense. So I think it's a good game to see him. And Zay, he's a guy that popped on my radar 3 weeks ago or so. It came up in a conversation. We're talking about guys, we're evaluating guys and talking about them. And, I just thought he was electric. Smaller receiver, but electric. He's a guy that I know scouts are talking about for next year. I know you mentioned him possibly, being in 2023 or 2022 class. And I think if he keeps on the trajectory that he's going on, he'll be right up there. He'll be fine.
Yeah, and for we did a whole kind of metrics discussion in the former podcast. So if you want to know more about what we're talking about and dominator rating and stuff, go back again, check that out. But for Zay in that aspect, as a sophomore last year, he was really good. I mean, he popped. I believe he had 30% or very very close to 30% of Boston College's receiving market share. Even though he didn't have the most receptions with the yards and everything, he was very high up there for his weighted dominator rating. So from a metrics perspective, he should be on everyone's radar. And the funny thing is, he's pretty much buried down a lot of at least fantasy lists for Dynasty and Devy and things like that. Now, you're saying NFL scouts, hopefully they know about him. Mm-hmm. And he's getting, rightful buzz. And I would imagine there's a decent chance he's got high enough draft capital, he'll leave, which is a good marker for NFL success. So I think he's a very, very relevant player. And I would not be shocked. We just talked about the top 5 last week. I would not be shocked if he rises into that group with another really good season, puts another, good season on tape. And we could be talking about him as a very legitimate top 5 wide receiver in the class, round 2 type pick.
Yeah, I think when you look at the trends the last couple of years, or it could work against him. These smaller, these faster, these shiftier receivers are making their way up draft boards. They're climbing. Everybody wants, a track team now. Everybody wants a McCole Harmon with a Tyreek Hill to press teams vertically, to expose safeties and mismatches, in the slide, whatever it may be. And he fits that category. He's exciting. He's explosive. And, they're aware of him. They know who he is. What type of prospect he'll end up being, that should be determined. But, he's got a good buzz around him right now.
Yeah. And, I don't think any of us think explosion when we think of Boston College.
No.
But, they play in the ACC, which is a fairly wide open conference defensively. There's a lot of great offenses in the ACC with UNC and Clemson and others. But, he's from the state of Florida, and Florida produces just tons and tons of wide receiver talent, elite speed. So, yeah. So, he did go to Boston College, and I don't know his recruiting story, but being honestly, that is a checkbox for me. If a guy's from the state of Florida, it kind of gives a little more weight to his legitimacy, honestly, because it's just ridiculous.
Not just Florida, South Florida. Like, he's from, Fort Lauderdale, football hotbed.
Mm-hmm.
You got Lamar Jackson, Marquise Brown. If you're a cat coming out of there, like you see a lot of these cats, if they don't end up at a Florida school, Miami, Florida State, Florida, you see them at Louisville, you see them
Mm-hmm.
at Boston
Tutu.
College.
Tutu
Yeah,
is
to like
from like Fort Lauderdale, I think, or
yep,
Miami
same
or
area.
whatever.
It's a very, 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 very talent rich football area. They take Little League football serious. So
Mm-hmm.
how he ended up at Boston College, I don't know. I'll find out. But
It
he's
wasn't
making
even a
making the most of it.
transfer. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't even a transfer, JUCO, anything. He just went straight to Boston College. It's kind of like, how did they pull a guy out of South Florida? But anyway, he's showing you what a guy from South Florida can do playing against the ACC, and he's tearing it up. So let's get in and let me share the screen here. We're going to get into his game against Pittsburgh, which he went bananas against them, and you can see this video, right?
Yep.
All right, so here we go. And this should be the all 22. So, because man, it is, and you can probably attest to this, it is impossible to really judge a receiver hardly at all um, with the game, with the broadcast.
Yeah, it's pretty much pointless because you miss so much of the route. When you're evaluating a receiver, you need the all 22, you need the coach's film. I need to see different angles. I need to see, the beginning of a route, the middle of the route, the end of the route. All those things play a factor when evaluating a receiver prospect, because most of the time on the camera, all you see is the quarterback throw the ball and the receiver catch it. I didn't see him put the corner or safety in a blender. So
Right. Well, it looks like we're having some technical difficulties here. I don't know what's up with this. It should work. It's working earlier today.
try refreshing.
Yeah. Let's see. I could just get out and go back in. Just do that real quick. Oh, you know what? I may have to. Let's see. Because, shoot. I need to change account. Oh, here we go. Sweet. I think I'm still in. This is going to make for a great podcast.
It's all good.
Bear with us, everybody. We're going to get this thing open. Here we go. All right. We're rolling. Okay, so we got the all 22 Pittsburgh and Boston College, and we they had this new quarterback this year who actually could deliver the ball a little bit more. So Zay, I think, is down here in the slot.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't do a whole lot there. He was trying to get his man coverage, and he was trying to get open down kind of a seam. Nothing really happened. He's blocking
It looked
before.
like a lot of times when you see teams press, that was the intention. Like, who was that, Hunter Long? He
Yeah.
was the intended target. A lot of times when teams are pressed, you just tell the guys to run them off. So they're just clearing out space for that route underneath. And what happened happened.
Yeah, and like he's still blocking downfield. Actually, that's pretty nice right there.
It's great. It's great effort by him, especially him not being a big guy. Great effort by him blocking, trying to finish that block.
Yeah, it's nice. This is such a nice film because you get both angles. You get end zone angle and then sideline. So you got to find him before the play. I didn't find him there. Let's go to the next play here. So is he coming in motion? He comes in motion a lot, I think, and that's probably that's 4. So he's coming in motion, and then it was just a misdirection there. They use him so much in just misdirections and to get the defense's eyes to be watching him.
He's a threat. So he's the guy that they're keying all week at practice. He's the guy they put a special guy in the practice, the scout team jersey, because he can hurt you.
That's him, I think, up top here. Now, for those of us that watching this, just by definition, this is not slot, even though it is it's a tight formation. But he is on the outside, he's on the line, so that's definitely not lining up in the slot, right?
Yeah, he's not. The formation, depending on how they call it, they may call it double slot, but not for him.
Okay, but that's obviously very tight. I mean, they're very bunched. Yeah. So let's see. That was a nice little release.
Yeah,
Didn't
so
get the
even there,
ball.
he showed, great quickness off the line, initial burst. The corner he actually shifted him. That's what I like to say. Like the corner thought he was going one way.
Mhm.
Uh, that's a
Yeah, I mean,
good rep by him.
it's right here, like, at the 38-yard line or whatever, he does a little
Yeah, he gave him a
shimmy.
little jab, and now
Yeah.
he's got him chasing him. He's got a blind spot, and he's gonna take advantage of it. If that ball would have came out, he probably catches it.
Yeah. No, I think so. I think he was open. And the end zone angle is not as wide as you'd like it because we can't see him over there, but nice catch by
Okay.
11. There he is looking, squaring up a guy. Didn't really do much, but he's in position for blocking.
Mhm.
You like to see, you like to see the effort, like you said. I mean,
Yep,
good
yep.
effort. You want him to care about his blocking and do the best he can. You don't want guys, shrugging and slumping along out there.
The
So,
block is such an effort thing. It's like rebounding. Yeah, I just
yeah,
wanna see effort.
I mean, he's holding him out. He's holding him. He's
Yeah.
not letting the guy come on into him or hit him or anything. He's kind of keeping him at a distance there. This is him here. Maybe we can get a little vision here, visual.
And that's what you wanna see. He's supposed to, stay inside of him, open up that lane. You try to get that one-on-one with that safety right there. So, I mean, he's doing his job.
Yeah. Again, up here. They run this bunch a lot. I mean, it's Boston College. They're not going to be like 5 wide flying all over the place. So,
That's why Hunter Long is so, highly regarded.
yeah, I think he's pretty good. I put posted on Reddit today. I mean, he's getting overshadowed because this is a ridiculous tight end class. But in a lot of classes, he'd be pretty good. Pretty good prospect. Ooh, that
Good
was
route. Good
that was
route.
something.
Yes, he has a little bit of that, that's the same type of thing that excites me about, like, a guy like Olave.
Yeah.
Alright. So being able to sell, like, route salesmanship, being able to sell that and get that safety biting.
Dang, you don't see it from that angle. We kind of lose him, but yeah, we'll have to see it from this side.
Yeah, he's right there. Boom,
Right
that's a wide stick.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that safety's turned around. I mean, is that what we call, like, did he really turn him around? Or is that kind of a normal
Well,
move
he
for the
he
safety?
bit. It was a great route by him.
Because
He
this
sold
guy
the
gets
post.
kind of schooled back there. I
Yeah,
think
he
number
sold the
3,
post really hard. He's pressing them outside,
whoop,
mistake.
wide
Um,
open. I mean, he didn't
yeah,
get the
good
ball,
route
but
by him. He ran out of real estate right there. Quarterback, if he sees him, they're 20 yards back. We get 60-yard touchdown right there.
yeah,
But
bummer we
great
can't
job
see
by
him
him.
over here.
That would go into like route tempo, like to me, because he sped up the safety's clock right there, and the safety thought he was going deep, and having the ability to put that foot in the ground and get back inside. That's the type of receiver you want on your team.
I like that. Yep, I like that a lot. Yeah, he's got these nice little moves. Like even right there, I mean, he kind of gets outside, and it's not even a pass play, but it looks like he's just kind of working. He's staying, like you said, you've mentioned in our previous conversation about not being able to get a hand on him. Like
Yeah.
he's kind of keeping his space.
Yeah, most guys don't like to be touched, especially those. Like, he's not a big receiver; they don't like to be touched anyway. So a lot of times, like when they know it's a run play, they're just messing with the DB at that point, giving them different looks, giving them different releases, things like
Okay,
that. Yeah, it's for later. So if I keep
gotcha.
messing with you, going outside, going outside, going outside, and later in the game I got an inside release, and now I got you because you're expecting outside. So it's all a part of a bigger game he's playing, and I'm sure.
Yeah, well, I like that too. I like that gamesmanship too, and not just taking the routes that you're going to get a pass on, but always playing.
He accelerated fast.
He's open.
Yeah, he's
Oh, bad pass tipped. But I mean, it
yeah,
wasn't he was open just because the play broke down. But
I like how he but see even then I like how he accelerated, he found his spot, but have the awareness to sit down. A lot of guys move too much. He found a pocket in the zone. He knew the quarterback was breaking down. There was nowhere else for him to really go. If he goes to the left too far, he's going to another defender, goes to the right, another defender. So he found that pocket. Speaks to his football IQ.
mhm.
Boom.
Little
He sat it down.
slip, unfortunately. But then, yeah, I mean, he's there. If that's a stronger throw, Quarterback's arm just couldn't get it there in time. But all right, he's going across. I mean, they use him in motion so frequently.
Oh yeah, he's the decoy. 100%. He's the decoy.
I gotta say, I mean, I don't know if it's like the white jersey kind of, looking big. Sometimes
Mhm.
white just kind of looks big, but he looks thicker than, he's listed 180 or something, but like he kind of looks like a nice build, I would say. He
Yeah,
doesn't look super skinny.
the game I watched, I couldn't remember. He doesn't look as small as I thought he would. Uh, but so that's definitely a plus. But he's got something to him, definitely.
All right, here he is on the outside. So I also like he's not always, playing slot either. He
Mhm.
is lining up as the most outside receiver, even though they're running these like bunch and stuff. So he doesn't look like he's a super, wide receiver because they just
Yeah.
don't run him out there like that. But
And
he's being isolated on a DB, so he's not being
mm, press it.
schemed open so much.
Yeah,
He's having to
no,
work.
no, definitely. And even the few clips, like he can get open. We probably only seen him run 5 or 6 routes, but he has the ability to get open. Um, which he has great acceleration. He has
Here we
good
go.
twitchiness.
Let's see what he does here. Maybe he'll get a
Going
nice
across
pass.
the field. Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
that was a little double.
Yeah, they got him. They got him double right there. Let me see. Let's see if they go back and see what they're running.
Yeah, the end zone angle stinks. We can't get the outside.
Safety help. Safety playing inside. They.
But it was a
It
nice
is
little.
what
I
it
think he
is.
kind of does a bit of a double move. I mean, yeah, the safety comes over, but it's not
Yeah,
just a
he's like he's
straight.
selling the corner, the corner
And
post.
then yeah,
Mhm.
he does have that like what you're talking about. I mean, that tempo where he's kind of surprises you all of a sudden with like a new gear kind of mid route.
Yeah, and that's what you really want to see because it's really hard for a DB because DBs cover backwards, right? So if I get a guy who's running 80% in the middle of the route, and then all of a sudden he puts it on 100, that's a problem because now I have to turn and run with that, which is why having DBs that can turn and run is so valuable.
Hmm.
Because guys like him, guys like Olave, guys like Wilson, they make you pay for it.
Now I don't know if he's here or top.
I think that's him underneath. Yeah,
Yeah,
running
that's
underneath.
him there. I think, or maybe he may. Is that him over there?
Yeah,
No.
that was the running back. The running back.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know if he might have not. He might have been getting a breather on that play. I'm not sure he was out there. Tell you what,
Don't drop the pick.
Jerkovich is not super impressive. His arm talent's just not very there. But he's better probably than what they've had previously. But I'm not super impressed with his.
They run that route a lot. He's pushing outside, but I guess it may be because the zone looks like they're in some sort of cover three right there.
Yeah.
But they run that they press outside, try to get back to the post or run up the seam. So they can't get past it though because they have safety help. So you're running the post instead of safety. So don't make a
Hmm.
whole lot of sense.
All right, here he is, close to us. Just trying to opposite side of the field there on the block. He's closest to us again. Let's see.
Oof.
Yeah, man. Oh yeah, let's go. Oh yeah. There we
Yeah, no,
go.
I knew when he took that step on the outside, I was like, that's trouble.
Right.
That's
I mean,
trouble.
he does he shakes guys mid route. I
Watch
mean,
it.
that
Boom.
again, he spun him around.
Well, and he doesn't slow down. So like, the speed endurance that he has, he doesn't get tired when he's running. Like you don't see him slow down. Like that step when he broke, he didn't break stride at all.
Yeah.
That's a positive right there because I don't have to worry about him slowing down when I run him on deep routes.
He's clean. I mean,
Hmm.
his movements are real clean, very smooth route runner. At
Yeah,
least right there. That was too easy. I mean, that was so easy. He just found that beautiful hole between the safety and the guy on the other side.
yeah. No, he's got something to him. And those guys are valuable because a lot of guys can't stretch the field like that.
And again, I think the surprising thing is this is Boston College. Like
Yeah.
people just aren't thinking that there's a explosive outside wide receiver at Boston College, but he's over there. He's
How
doing
did
things.
I remember watching the game, but I wasn't aware of him at the time. How did he do against Clemson?
I think he had a touchdown. I think I'd have to go look and see, but it was in contention. It was one of the ones I was thinking about doing with Clemson. It was a good game. It was
Yeah,
reasonable.
that would be a. It wouldn't be the best game just because they're so overmatched, I believe. But I know it's a competitive game. Um, but it'd be a good game to watch him match up with De'Aaron Kendrick and Booth.
Let's see. I can get that real quick because I'm curious now as we let this thing roll here for a second. Clemson this past year in 2020, 3 for 63, but he did get in the zone. And he gets used on rushes. He had one for Clemson. He had 1 for 4, but he's got a couple against Georgia Tech. He had 3 carries for 36 yards and a touchdown. So he gets some of these. They will give him that ball. We see him in motion, but he will get that ball sometimes too.
Well,
Uh,
even that's impressive. Just because he's averaging 20 a catch against Clemson.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
It's only 3, but a decent amount of yards, and then he did get in the zone.
Yeah. So, I mean, I look at things like that. Even Garrett Wilson against Alabama. He didn't have a ton of production that game, but the plays that he made in that game made me go, okay, like you got it. You know what I'm saying? It caught my attention. And Zay Flowers, I'm glad we got a chance to pull him up because he's a guy I think probably will go under the radar for the majority of the process. And then everybody's going to think they're a wizard come next March when they're talking about Zay Flowers out of Boston College is my sleeper, blah, 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 blah.
We're gonna hit him with this
But
podcast.
yeah. Somebody they'll hop on and start talking about him. But he's a good player. I like him. I like his ability to get deep and be able to sell those routes. So
Yeah. Yeah. And I think just the fact that he's Boston College is going to keep him under the radar. I mean, people just aren't going to
100%.
here he comes in motion. But honestly, it's little things like that too. Just as a prospect evaluator, I it doesn't show up in the stat sheet. It doesn't get you any fantasy points, but I like guys that the coaching staff says, let's make him the focal point of our offense, even if he doesn't get the ball. They think so highly of him that they want the defense to be looking at him on every play. And so that
Yeah.
tells me something. I mean, that tells me how the coaches he think he's super dynamic, and they see him every day.
Well, once you get your
Ooh.
packet at the beginning of the week, he just gets
Oh
open.
no.
Yeah, I'm about to say he just gets open. Like, you
So
see him streaking down the
open.
field.
So
You see him
open. Oh
streaking
my
down the field. But yeah,
that was
he's the guy. He's the guy when you get your packet at the beginning of the week, they're saying, do not let him get behind you.
look at the
So that
acceleration after the cut.
um,
There. I mean, there's like a little 2 or 3 yard spurt where he
mhm.
really accelerates after that cut.
Yeah, that's it's a tough catch. I would expect him to make it, but that's a tough catch. Quarterback has to put that out there. Looks like it was a bust in coverage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, behind him. I mean, come on, Jerkovich. Let's go.
Yeah, man, make
But
the throw.
so open. I mean, he really does mid route on a lot of these. He is hitting a gear that is surprising, I think, both of us and probably surprising the DB, which is really what you want. You want him to
Yeah,
surprise the DB with that.
and they run some weird concepts too. I'm not the biggest fan of what they're doing offensively in the pass game. I
Mhm.
feel like they're not taking advantage of. I mean, they're using him as a decoy a lot, but I don't see them taking full advantage of the type of athlete that he is at receiver.
Sure. Well,
There's some better route concepts that I think you can get him open with. They're moving around, which I love to see. So that's a
right,
positive. But I
right.
I would think they only have so much talent. Not to knock Boston College, but there's only so much they have to work with.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. It's just, yeah, I mean, it's a bottom tier. I mean, they're a middling Power 5 team. I
Mhm.
mean, they'll go 8-4, 7-5, and
And they're
just
not in the hottest recruiting area in the country
no,
either.
Northeast, no. That's
So
why
that
it's shocking.
sucks.
Like, how did they get Zay? I don't know if there was some connection with a high school coach or something. I mean, I have no
I'm telling
idea.
you, those kids go under the radar. When I was a GA, um, we'd find kids in Florida, and we're like, "How do you not have an offer?" And then we'd offer them, and then they blow up. But
Hmm.
that's how it is. Like, it's so many athletes in that state of Florida. It's easy to get overlooked.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that I do, every year when the freshmen come in is honestly, I go and I see what lower rated kids out of Florida went to,
Mhm.
basically a non-Florida school. Like, I just think because they show up to these places and they just kind of pop because they're different from South Florida and from Florida
Yep.
specifically.
I look at
Um,
track times a lot. It's such a big track state.
yeah.
Um, One of the first things I do a lot of times, if I see a prospect and I think he's fast, I go on my split and I look up their 100-meter time.
Hmm.
Not that it's a direct indicator, but if you're running sub 11 in high school, you know you're you're pretty fast. You're a pretty fast kid. So
Is that kind of your threshold? Like, you just want to see anything sub 11?
yeah, that's for me. And typically that's how it is. And the 100-meter isn't, it's an endurance thing as well. Because most people get tired, but if they can go sub 11, in the 100-meter in high school, they're pretty fast. They're up there. And if you start getting below 10.7, you're a little different. And if you're crazy and you get below 10.5, you're a freak. So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, 10.5 is like, yeah, 10.4. Uh, who in
it's
this class
absurd.
is like 10.4, 10.3? There's somebody.
Um, Tyson Campbell, Anthony Schwartz. You're talking about
Schwartz was like a
2022?
Yeah, I mean this class, but yeah, Schwartz was like a 10.2 or something just
Schwartz
outrageous.
has the junior world record, I believe.
Yeah. I mean, he'll if he doesn't make in the NFL, he'll go run
Yeah,
for
so
USA.
picture Tyson Campbell, Patrick Surtain, Anthony Schwartz all on the same 100-meter team.
Oh my god.
They
Well,
did.
yeah, and
They were.
Yeah, and Leary this year, he ran I think he's like sub 10.7, sub 10
Well,
10.5.
Tutu Atwell's brother, is a track guy as well. I believe he was committed to Miami. I see him down there. A lot of runs.
I know,
Tutu
like
Atwell's
we're not even
brother is a
talking about
track
Zay
guy.
Flowers anymore because the Boston College offense is that bad.
Well, he has the thing I like about Zay though, like right here, like even if they're not passing to him a lot, like I want to see him lined up against press. I want to see how he attacks guys. Like
Oof.
he explodes out of his breaks.
Yeah, yeah, dude.
Like
I
he
mean, that is
explodes out of
some
his breaks.
yeah, that is some
He's
serious
not the guy
placement
you
right
want to be
there.
even with.
Like, look at that. Yeah, I mean, after the break, he pulls away. I mean,
Yeah, he's
15
exciting.
stumbles a little bit, but
Boom,
that's a nice off the
jab,
line. And
press.
then now he's multiple steps.
Yeah. So he's covered for him not to be a big guy. He's covering a lot of ground really fast. He gave him a little jab step outside. He pressed him vertically, and then he broke him off. And at that point, I know we say a lot. If he's even, he's leaving.
Hmm.
If the DB is even with the receiver, he's out of there. So you don't want to be even with Zay Flowers. I promise you.
Yeah, man. I mean, he didn't even get the ball there, but like that was one of the better plays I think from him.
Hmm.
That last one was nasty. And is that like stacking a DB kind of? Is that what you when you talk about stacking?
Yeah. So when it wouldn't be in that situation. Stacking would be when right,
Oh,
kind of right there. Um, if I get on top of him and I slow him down to where I can control, how I'm going to catch the ball or not. Got hands on him early. He's still fighting through contact. Great ball. Like he tracked that ball amazing. Like he's a center fielder.
yep.
That's a plus right there for me. A lot of guys can't focus through that. Like he had contact through that whole route.
Hmm.
Um, he got jammed early, fought through it. Kept running, had contact late. Boom. Yeah,
Dang, man. Yeah, that's
you're not
and I
catching it.
mean, and yeah, he had contact, but I wouldn't say it wasn't a contested catch. I mean, he had plenty of
No.
space.
Yeah, he separated after the second contact. He kind of got a little push about 20 yards downfield, and then he even continued to separate.
Yeah.
He's
Woo,
impressive.
I
He
like
has
him,
some
man.
he has some stuff to him.
15 had a
Um,
bad day. 15 was scared.
yeah, I would think most people had a bad day against a guy like Flowers. Like what you're up against. Um, and I mean they're running a ton of zone against him. the majority of his catches, he's finding pockets in the zone. That was one time, it turned into man, and he lit him up for it.
Yeah, I mean, I I've seen a little bit. I was really interested, mostly
Mhm.
because of the metrics, and he popped in terms of the class, and I was like, who, I got to really keep an eye. But this is so fun because I think it matches up. I mean, I can tell why he commanded all those targets for Boston College because like he's clearly
Mhm.
the most dynamic guy on the field.
Well, if they didn't get him the ball, I mean, they'd be doing themselves a disservice. Um, I see what he does vertically, what he can do deep. I want to see more. Obviously, watch more games of him. As the process goes on, especially this
Mm.
season, I'll be paying a lot closer attention to him. But I want to see, how how developed is he in the route tree? Like I see he has good burst. I see he has good twitchiness off the line. He can kill you vertically. Obviously, he's a vertical threat. But I want to see a little bit more to label him like an elite prospect as far as like as a complete receiver. But he does a lot of things really really well. He's impressive.
So, unfortunately, would you say that? Oh man, that is not he. This quarterback.
Yeah,
Some,
he's not looking too hot.
but like, would you say that is it? Maybe the offense is not going to allow him to run those routes that you want to see, like the
And that
diversity.
that can be a thing. That's something you see it with a guy like Antonio Nunn out of Buffalo.
Yeah.
Um, so Jared Patterson, he's getting 35, 40 carries a game. But, Antonio Nunn's a guy who he only got asked to run 3 or 4 routes.
Hmm.
Um, and you see he released a practice clip and he's running all of these routes and he's running them very well. So a lot of times the offensive scheme doesn't allow, players to showcase all of their talents. And that could be a thing with him. Clearly he has the ability. There's no athletic limitations as to why he couldn't be able to do it, but it's a possibility that the offense is kind of holding him back a little bit.
As a
It's kind of
not
boom or
even.
bust, honestly.
Yeah.
Just off of this film, it's boom or bust. Maybe they hand the ball off, do some orbit stuff with him, some jet sweep stuff. But if it's not a deep ball, it's almost like he's not getting it.
Yeah. We do have another touchdown because I know he had 3 in this game, so we'll at least go to see that. But
It's
David
always interesting.
Bailey, their running back Bailey is such a zero. I think he transferred out. I mean, he just 26. I mean, he just does
Yeah,
nothing with the ball. When they give him the ball, he just does nothing.
yeah,
I
he's
mean, it's
he's
like,
low
why are they
bread.
running the ball? They don't even run it, or give it to Zay on some of those sweeps and stuff. I mean, just giving it to Bailey is just ugh.
Yeah, see, I love what Purdue did with Rondell Moore. Even when I was watching Bell, Rondell Moore kept flashing. I was like, he's
Hmm.
so ridiculous.
Yeah,
He's such a good football player.
yeah. I mean, as an athlete, just absolutely electric. And
Um,
yeah, what Ole Miss did with Eli Moore, like
yeah,
just force it, just force them the
feed him,
ball.
feed him in the rain, feed him.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I think they could do that. They should be doing that with Flowers here, but I don't know if they won this game or not. But I mean, you would think they should. I mean, he got 6 catches. It's not like they didn't use
Yeah,
him, but could have more. Just give the ball less to
yeah,
Bailey.
no doubt. And so far off what I'm seeing, I think he's a good route runner. He's really good deep. I think he gets vertically well on deep breaking routes. I would give him, he's up there. Everything else is not as developed. I don't think I see him do little things here and there, but short and intermediate routes, I don't see like elite route running. But
Hmm.
the things he does well, he does them really well. Like he's going to be up there with the top of guys in the class when you look at if you're asking a guy to run a post, if you're asking a guy to run a corner post, whatever it may be,
Ooh,
he's
you
up
like
there
that?
with yeah. No, he's up there with those guys.
What'd you think of that one? There's a little stop and go here.
Boom. Yeah, it's savvy. I think he's a smart football player just from watching him. Cornerbacks on top of him. He's being physical. Again, like I'm trying to slow down or speed up his tempo, make him think I'm coming back, just so I can create a separation. So it's a smart move by him. I actually like that a lot.
And is that something that's like written into the route, or is that like just freelancing in the middle of
I
the
think
route?
that's him. I think that's him freelancing. Like even there, he got the guy turning around. I think he knew the guy was on top of him. He knew he's going vertical. And he was just like, I gotta get him. If I get him stopped, he can't run with me.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's just him being savvy.
Yeah, I mean, you got to like that too. I mean, that's showing. And remember, we're not watching a guy who's draft eligible yet. We're not watching a guy. This
Yeah,
isn't senior
he's a
film.
puppy.
This is sophomore, true sophomore film. I mean, he's 19, so
Hmm.
he's got time to develop. I mean, that's why this whole idea of the breakout age and stuff. I mean, and I've heard people mention that when you're watching tape, we need to kind of judge tape based on age as well. Like this is sophomore tape and he's,
Yep.
doing some things really, really well, which puts him and showing that savvy there, at 19 years old. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and
Promise.
that's why I was so excited about Jamar Chase. We were I guess we were a little critical of him um over at the Crocker Report because we
Yeah.
were talking about his flaws, right? And
Yeah.
I think it comes across kind of negatively at times because we're bringing up a guy's flaws so much. But I also like to point out, hey, he was 19 years old on this film.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's terrifying. Like a year and a half before that, he was in high school. So I'm not too worried about Jamar Chase. So I think he's really good. But in the same thing with a lot of these guys, Patrick Surtain just turned 21 today. Like,
Yeah.
so he was playing against the best receivers in the country at 20 years old. So
Yeah. No, I think when we watch tape too, we should all consider that as well because these are young guys. So if you can pick out a couple really good traits at that young age and then they get a little more
mhm.
refined, you know, there I think I mean for most folks I think when we're watching tape, at least for the fantasy community, you're watching tape on guys who are draft eligible. So they're
Yep.
closer to a finished project when you go back and you watch these got underclassmen tape and it pops, that's when you may have a special guy. All right, let's go. And
Uh,
I think we're gonna get. I mean, that was a strip sack. He just looks. He does not look good back there. He kind of looks clueless.
and that Pitt D line is really good, man. You got Patrick Weaver. You
Yeah,
got
17's real good. Isn't he draft? These are gonna
you
have
got
a couple draft.
Jones. You got Jones Weaver. 3 of those 4 will be drafted. This year.
Yeah.
Um, they're both really, really good. Their ends, especially, really, really good.
Let's see. 15's. Yeah, having a rough night. He's gonna have another. We're gonna have another one. I just want to see it. But yeah, the Boston College it is a tough. Ooh,
Yeah, good
nice
catch by
little
him.
and body
Uh,
control after the catch.
yeah, he ran it out right there.
I think, but yeah, staying in bounds and then trying to make a little extra.
Mhm. Boom.
Whoop.
Had to track it. I don't know. I know. I think that some people may knock him for his he catches with his body a lot. Um,
Yeah, I
but
see it.
yeah, I've seen it a couple times. I wasn't sure at first. I know a lot of times, like when I watch, I keep talking about like, even Pickens, even Justin Ross. I know he's hurt. And hopefully he gets back to 100% this year. Olave, Wilson, Bell, they're natural pass catchers. And like when I say natural pass catchers, I mean they don't fight the ball at all.
Mhm.
When they like you see them go up and get it, and it's just like, okay, that's mine. The soft hands, those type of things. So that's something I want to see. And this is one game. I'm sure I'm gonna go back in and watch 4 or 5 games of Zay because he's definitely got my attention. I did some surface level stuff of him, but he's got something to him.
Yeah, I think that's a good point about the catching and letting the ball into your body or not. I mean, that's one issue I have with the. I love Diami Brown, but he
Mhm.
doesn't he doesn't attack the ball. I mean, he lets the ball come
Yeah.
into him a lot of the time.
Even
Which yeah.
this one, I think he was at the top of the play we just watched. He he did. I think that was him at the top. Like boom,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
like
that's him
stuff
with
like that. Yeah, stuff like that. With an elite quarterback or a team giving him protection, we're seeing him on Sports Center or
Yeah,
ESPN. So
with his second 70-yard touchdown catch
for
of the
real,
game. But yeah, I mean, going back to like fighting the ball or letting it into your body, or being passive about, letting it come all the way to you instead of going and grabbing it out of the air. So those are all different things to look at too. But I mean, we're gonna nitpick by the time he's going to the draft. Of course, we'll find everything we don't like. But I think you should know what the flaws are. But we can
just
celebrate
be
the good
really
things
fair.
too.
Yeah, he's got something. He's got something to him. I think the buzz that he does or the buzz he doesn't have yet. I think it's legit. Um, I think he's definitely a guy that could rise, especially with a good season.
He's
He's
got
going
some
to be a
juice.
guy that a lot of people like.
He's definitely got some juice for
Yeah.
sure. I think at the end of this drive, he scores like the last of the game or something. But yeah, I'm glad to watch him too. I'd seen him a little bit before, but really kind of taking it a little slower and seeing all the plays. I've been even more impressed than I realized. I think it's hard to shake Boston College. I mean, look at the rest of the
Yeah.
team. They're all kind of duds. I mean, he looks like the fastest guy on the whole team, on the whole field.
He's getting
And
held. That's always a good sign when
yeah,
you see a receiver getting held. And so he's over there breaking the nickel off. It looks like.
I like that. I'll be looking for that more often. How many times did the guy get held?
Oh yeah, because if they're good, they know they can't cover him, so they're they're gonna hold. I'd rather hold than give up 7 or 6.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, especially in college where it's not even a spot foul.
Yep, exactly.
They should change that, by the way. I don't know why they do it that way. It's just like
Yeah,
a
I
free
wish they
pass. I mean, if you're
would.
beat, why not?
Well, I tell my guys that it's something I was taught as well. Um, hey, if you know you're cooked, grab them.
Yeah.
Grab him. I'll live with it. I'm not gonna yell at you because I'm gonna look back on film and see that he was about to go for 50. So
Yeah.
I'll be okay with it. Just don't let it happen again. So
Yeah, right. Yeah, don't make a habit of it. There he is. Ooh.
yeah, he's pretty. He's got it, man. He's when he's going vertical or he's going deep, man. He's a problem.
Mhm. Let's see this
He does.
actual catch. I think we'll see a nice angle of the actual catch here. See if it was a little contested.
Don't.
It
Yep, we ain't got it.
Yeah.
Stayed up.
And
Yeah,
he's I mean
that corner's having a long day.
yeah, man.
I need to go back and watch the game after and see if he got benched or not because I can't imagine
Oh,
get cooked.
15. And now he's blaming his teammate. Look, he's like, "Hey, I thought you were coming over."
I thought I had help. Where my safety at?
Ah. And look at Zay though. Look at this swag here after the catch. He just
Yeah, no,
staring at him.
he's a
Woo!
dude, man. He's
Yeah,
good. I'm glad we got to watch him. I'm glad we got to watch him.
absolutely. I'm glad you joined us for oh, for the Zay Jones film. So that was Zay Jones I did it. I was so close
Yep,
to the
you
whole
did it.
thing.
You said you were. You said you would.
Zay Flowers against
Mhm.
Pitt, looking real nice in some aspects. Remember, that's 19-year-old film. Jon, thanks for joining us, man. And yeah, for those listening who don't know, you're at the Crocker Report. Tell
Yep.
them where they can find you on Twitter and whatever else you got going on.
And you can find me on Twitter at Jon Hagler CR, JonHagler CR. And make sure you check out the CrockerReport.com and Crocker Report Twitter as well. So
Yeah, absolutely. They're always putting out great stuff, and they will obviously be talking about Zay Flowers as we get to the 2022 class. Over here on the campus to Canton side, we're looking at these guys a little earlier, but very, very exciting guy here. And he's not a big name right now, but we want to keep your eyes out for Zay Flowers, Boston College. Jon, thanks so much for coming, and we will see you guys next time.
no problem.